level up a few thousand degrees with a Lava Hot podcast and host Joseph Connell Jr. You'll hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, from tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers. This show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to lava hot. Get ready to burn this down.
So Adam, welcome to the show.
It's quite an operation.
So I mean, the brand, they really know how to do the setup. They know how to make a guy feel at home. I mean, they put on the whole production and get me all set up, and I just walk in, hit record, and hopefully produce a good quality episode for both the guest and for the audience.
And for everybody listening, just know that I'm making Joe not wear his headset today. So that throws him off at all. It's my fault. And I couldn't do the listening to yourself kind of thing. So.
Yeah. You know what? For me, it kind of messed with me as well. That echo kind of ringing at first, and then I kind of
get used to it.
Yeah, it kind of grew on me eventually. But so Adam, let me dive into this. So Vasco Property Services, as I know, is a company that's been around for a little over a decade at this point.
Yeah. So the Vasco is, and we've been around getting our feet in the contracting pool around here, and where we're at now is a pretty good place. But yeah, I actually started contracting in 2003 with a company called Next Generation.
Yep. So you're approaching 20 years of doing, full-time construction here on the Eastern Shore.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess we're going to go into my story now, huh?
Yeah, well, so I don't even really know how you got into construction. Like, I know that you've been doing it for quite some time. After high school, you ended up going into construction. It's kind of funny. I went a different direction. I went into the lumber sales, so kind of connected, but not. But I didn't ever know like how you got into construction. Was it like
my father and my grandfather. My grandfather owns a hotel. Did own a hotel in Ocean City, and so we did all the repairs in house. From everything on that. And my dad was a home builder. And he kind of got out of it when I was about 16, 17, and I went to work with one of the best on the shore, 5-star construction. I went to work for them, and I mean that guy's still here and building beautiful homes. But worked for them, and going through it, I had a daughter right out of high school, so and trying to make ends meet. I was working every side job I could get, and renovations and everything, which I've been doing since I was a kid. Tile, all that with my family, and their business. And so basically, it ran its course of, the most contractors that start from scratch, they have a job, and then it rolls out as you're doing side jobs. And the side jobs on a Saturday, Sunday, you're making double what you're making through the week. Just doing repairs for other people, or nights and weekends doing construction work.
Sure.
So came an opportunity. Actually tag teamed into Syntex. Which was building, local Glen Riddle, Decatur Farms. They were a national home builder.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I forgot all about that part where you were in Glen Riddle.
It was crazy. It was back in the heyday of construction. I mean, it was nuts. Going all the way up to when the housing market crashed. So I started out 18 years old, a Volkswagen Passat with a ladder rack, and a gold Volkswagen Passat with ladder racks on top and an extension ladder and a back full of tools. Doing all the work myself, rocking and rolling.
What's funny? So because there's people that might listen to this episode, they might say, well, he started because he had a grandfather that owned a hotel. Like there was, clearly maybe some family money there, but to then go into, here's the story of how I started. Gold Passat ladder rack. So it was built maybe there was like the emotional support, the
yeah,
family support, all that stuff, but you built it starting from a Passat. And now, when I look at what Vasco has and Gutter Pro has, the amount of trucks you guys have, the location, things like that. I mean, to be able to build that up, I just think that's a cool part of the story.
Yeah, so my story, we're not rich. My family, we're not it was, I grew up like in Bishopville on a little farm, kind of like a hobby farm we had there. My mom's a nurse. My dad, took a massive pay cut to go work for my family business because my grandfather got sick. So, I mean, we grew up. It was hand-me-down clothes, and it wasn't a lot of money, man. We weren't.
That's how a lot of us,
Yeah, for sure.
It was scrappers.
So, right out of high school, got married and had my daughter, and I can remember being so poor after I bought this house, and I'm going to use locations. These people probably aren't going to know that, but it's out in Parsonsburg. It's a couple acres, and I bought 2 houses. I was still 17, just about to turn 18. I bought my first 2 houses, and I lived in the front, renovated the back, and rented out the back. But I can remember being so poor. Probably going to regret this, but I can remember standing there crying, sweeping my carpet floors with a broom because I couldn't afford a vacuum cleaner. Because if I bought a vacuum cleaner, I didn't have gas to get to work the next day, and working all the side jobs and everything. So, but anyway, like fast forward a few months, man, I was making a lot of really good money doing all these side jobs and, building houses. And I moved on from 5-star and was working for Willard's Brothers Construction, who was framing houses for a national builder. And here was 18 years old, project manager, overseeing all these houses being built. It was crazy.
Right.
So then the opportunity came. I got some insurances and I got the licensing, and Syntex went to them and sat at their door and said, "Hey, look, I want to do all your do trim work, and I want to do contracts with you." And they kind of turned me down at first. Yeah. So I literally sat there in front of Syntex's. They had construction trailers, which is basically like the cheapest trailer you can buy that guys would go to just to do office work on big job sites. Yeah, I'd bring a dozen donuts and I would sit out front saying, "Hey, look, I'm here. Like, throw me in. Let me get some of these contracts." And they had did that for about 2 weeks. I'd show up every morning like, "Hey, where do you need me?" And these construction managers at that point, they were just grabbing contractors everywhere, and they're like, "This young kid, I ain't gonna give him a this contract." But I ended up picking up an interior trim contract, and I spent the next few years went from myself and one other guy to, at one point I had 60 guys. I had a ton of vehicles going, and it was crazy. It was a definite building boom. And it was luck of the timing, I guess.
This was next gen?
Yeah, next generation. Okay. And then I sold that company right before the market crashed. I sold that company and I went into solar work. I started designing and doing a lot of the design install for one of the largest solar companies around, which I was with at when I went to work with them. It was me and 4 other guys. Right. And we started designing and ended up installing, I think, 80 to 85% of all solar in Delaware. At one point, it was an awesome boom there for solar. I mean, it's died off now a lot, with the incentives and all. But then got back into framing, and as soon as my non-compete ran out with selling my first company, about 3 years, got back in and started Vasco.
Cool. So I remember, right at the beginning when you were first coming up with Vasco, building out that brand. I know even the business model has kind of changed a little bit. I remember initially, you were wanting it to be more of like a service plan, but I'm assuming that because this was around 2011.
Yeah,
right around there. Yeah. So right around that mark, things are starting to recover in the economy. I would imagine a lot more people are starting to think, renovations, kitchens, baths, things like that. Right. Which seems to be the area that you guys have just been dominating in with some of the bigger home renovations, doing additions, kitchens. But I want you to speak on that. So for Vasco, what are some of like the priority projects, the projects that you guys really excel at? And, if you had the opportunity to, speak directly to a homeowner right now that might be considering a project, what would that project look like? And, who would you want?
So like I guess the question is when that phone rings and that you ask them, hey, so why are you calling me today?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of like, hey, what's going on? What can I help you with today? Like additions, full home renovations. I love those. The projects that are anywhere between $50,000 and $450,000. Like I like doing those, but I'll tell you, if I don't like the project, I won't do it. I'll refer you to one of my, somebody that I think would be a better fit. Yeah. The only projects that I take on, and in this market and with this, as much energy and time as I've put into this, being a contractor, and it's not just me. There's a lot of really great contractors around here. For sure. You get to pick and choose what your projects are, so you're not having to chase every phone call. So when somebody calls in and they're saying, hey, Adam, we're looking to do, a major renovation and their timeline isn't going to match up with my timeline, then I get to say, hey, look, I'm not going to, stress myself out. Here's a referral.
And them ultimately too. I mean, because if you know that you can't complete a project in the time frame that they need it, it's a good business practice to say, look, just with the projects we have going on, I would love to do the project, but I think here's a couple of other great contractors that I think will do. Maybe able to help them out a little bit. To me, I think it speaks somewhat to the integrity. I mean, you guys have kind of built this reputation of being a family-owned and operated business where quality is the driver. So it's quality driven.
You just stole that from me.
So, because that's what I do as a marketing guy. Here's a tip right here at the camera.
Okay.
Most of the time when it comes to doing marketing, you just need to ask questions. You got to figure out what it is that business owner is, what they really think behind all the facade or whatever, Tell me about your business. It's the unique sales proposition. Every business should try to develop and figure out what theirs is. And your USP is that you're quality driven. I believe that about you because I don't think you can be a contractor that's in business for 20 years or coming up on 20 years and quality not be a priority. Especially nowadays, it's too easy to get found out. There's a saying that I like to say, the time will either promote or expose you. And I stole that, by the way. I didn't make it up, but it's a great quote. And it's the truth. Time will either promote or expose you. 20 years is long enough to determine that you're a good quality contractor. You do good quality work. And even if you just look at the inception of Vasco up to this point, you guys have gotten bigger, not smaller. You don't get bigger by being.
And it's not all me, man. I have an amazing team that stands behind me, man. Like I said, I started the company and I did it all. I buy in real estate, and I would do everything, man, from the plumbing to electrical. I got experience in all of it. So I don't do any plumbing or electrical in a client's house, but if I'm flipping a house or if I'm renovating a house, I would do everything from the ground up, a ground up everything by myself. I'd work all day long and then go at nights and renovate a place. But you're speaking to the point of quality. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of real, like where we're at on the Eastern Shore. We're big tourist driven, a lot of rentals. I mean, there's so many rental properties. I don't know what your audience is or how exposed they are, but Ocean City, Maryland, is, you've got a few months in the summer where everybody makes their money. Restaurants are open, like a lot. Right. I'd say over half. We just think about half of our businesses close in the winter.
Yeah, Ocean City becomes a ghost town.
Right, even outside of it. I mean, it's growing more now. We have a huge influx of people from New Jersey, New York, PA, all moving down into our area.
Yeah.
Sussex County, Worcester County, Wycomico County, where we're doing this podcast from in Wycomico. But there's a huge influx of northern people transplanting and uprooting and moving down here. But when we get into moving forward with gosh, I lost it there, Joe.
No, it's all good.
I dropped it then.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's interesting is right now is, when you have a reputation of being able to crank out quality work, locally people might know of you, but it really takes the level of quality, consistent, reliable quality, to be the guy that gets referred to the people that come down from another market, because every business has the unknown market, people that might be new to the area. They just bought a home, so it's their first time even considering calling a contractor. They might be dissatisfied with the contractor that they had. They might be price shopping. There's a variety of different things, but to consistently get, kind of that word of mouth referral base, for people that are new to the area, it does speak to you as a business owner, but it does speak to the quality. And I think it's part of what you were saying, the quality in the support of your company, from the guys doing, installs or builds or so on and so forth. I mean, you do have, a pretty solid crew over at your organization from, on both sides of the company from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. A lot of that stuff comes from the top down, but, you have great quality people, kind of behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. I mean, and kind of you're diving in a little bit of a lead generation. As you help me out with our digital stuff, but you can't live and die by digital leads or Home Advisor. I mean, and Home Advisor is kind of new to the market, where it's a crazy beast in itself. Mm-hmm. But you live and die by referrals from the people that you do work for.
The other thing that I see is it's hard to market a company that's a bad company. You know what I mean? Like, you could give me the biggest budget in the world, and if you have a bad reputation, if you consistently do bad quality, it makes my job very, very difficult. Like, you almost have to dupe I just don't do it. Honestly, I don't. Mm-hmm. I don't like linking up or being associated with people that do bad quality.
Right.
I just rather partner with, because for me, 10 years in marketing, I can be a little bit more selective in, who I want to work with. Whether it's, one of the best general contractors in the area, if it's one of the best gutter companies in the area, one of the best pest control companies, HVAC, I can be selective in that regard.
Well, I mean, and what you do, it's amazing, the work. I mean, owning a business, and whether it's contracting or a restaurant, or you wear so many hats, man. And I have gone through and done just about everything you can do in marketing. I've spent big money in marketing and everything else. And I can tell you that I've had more success with better clientele calling for what I really want to specialize in. Going through somebody like what you do for us in the digital world.
So I know we talked and hit a lot on Vasco, and I know there's this aspect of doing home renovations, but you guys are also certified or a dealer for Tough Deck?
Yeah. So we install what's called a waterproof membrane. So if you have a flat roof or a deck that you want it to be waterproof and have living space, or just don't want water and grit going down through it, we could put a membrane down on it. We have to be certified, and you go through a training class, which is up in Canada. A lot of people know of a product that's called, contractors know of a product that's called Duradeck. We did that for years, and we found a few things that we didn't like about it, and I almost stopped doing it altogether. And then I went to this trade show. It was a contractors trade show, and met these guys, Grant and them from Tough Deck, and we've been back into it for a few years with Tough Deck, and but what Tough Deck does is it provides a 15-year waterproof warranty on a flat deck, and there's a niche specific project that requires this. I mean, it's a higher cost project, as far as materials, the labor that goes into it, everything they have to do to get it down.
Yep.
But it's, the value, again, I sell a lot of value. So, when you're laying $1 out, you want to get the most you can out of it. And this product brings it to the market. So we are the only Tough Deck dealer, Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. So if anybody's looking for Tough Deck, give us a call.
Sure, absolutely. So now you had Vasco, you started that in 2011. Now I want to talk Gutter Pros.
Sure, man.
Because, in theory, one might think, okay, well, gutters, you can do that within that vertical, but you started Gutter Pros. Tell me how Gutter Pros got started, and then, kind of
Sure. So
how it's evolved over the years.
It's really started with me getting screwed over by a bunch of gutter companies. So what happened was I built this real big, beautiful addition for this lady. She loved it. I mean, we're done, man. Everything's done on the whole house. She's stoked, super happy. Last thing to happen is the gutters. And we went through 3 different gutter companies. Hey, we'll be there Tuesday. Never showed up. Call them up. Hey, yeah, we're going to be there. So it went on for like 4 weeks where I was meeting 3 different gutter companies. They didn't show up, didn't get the work done. And this lady, all of this new landscaping and everything we were doing was getting washed away in this time. And so, it went from like this super awesome client that was really happy with our services to now I'm getting, feeling that impatience, like, hey, what's going on? Why can't you just get the gutters on the house? So I ended up, after doing all that, I went and blew 20 G's on a new gutter machine, bought some gutter metal, and put it on the house myself with seamless gutters.
Overcommit. I mean,
I felt bad.
You didn't even just go out and say, all right, I'm just going to go buy some like 10-foot sections or 20-foot sections, because you probably had already presented it as, you're going to get a full
seamless gutter. And I wasn't doing that Home Depot. You can go to Home Depot and buy 10-foot sections, but it leaks. It's not going to fit the quality of a job that I put on for them. Yeah. So I went and bought this machine, man, not thinking that I was ever going to do a gutter business. I mean, we ended up, getting that roll of gutter, getting that job done, and bunch of the contractors that I'm friends with in the area, like, oh, you got a gutter machine? Hey, man, I got, we just resided this house, come do our gutters. I'm like, well, I really don't know. So my wife, Destiny, actually, phone calls started coming in more and more from my buddies that are contractors, because I didn't market it. I didn't tell anybody I bought this gutter machine. I was kind of just sitting on this gutter machine at this point. I actually had it for sale after I did the job, but ended up running out and doing a couple gutter jobs for these guys, and they seen, Vasco started getting calls like, oh, I seen you guys did gutters over there. So I told my wife, I said, hey, look, I'm going to give you 2 guys. I'm going to give you a phone, and I'm going to give you a gutter machine, and here's one, a box truck. You guys just start running, run your gutters. And my wife, a stay-at-home mom, didn't think it was going to be much. Maybe she'd work two days a week in the office and kind of just do the thing.
Was happy to take on the project and was
so we had 2 guys that actually I had 2 guys on my crew that had gutter experience and had been installing for years. With another company that were working for me doing construction, and they were all excited to go back and start doing gutters. So those 2 guys were doing gutters 3 days a week, and then working with, on the Vasco side. And then it got to the point where the phone wasn't stopping ringing, and you did, so that was the inception and the birth of the Gutter Pros, who now we do, man, we do. I can't tell you how many different contractors, we homeowners, I didn't really, honestly, years ago, I didn't know anything about gutters. I was hiring a subcontractor to come put gutters on houses, and there's a lot that goes into it. There's a ton of moving parts, and the only thing I can say about the gutter business is, if you show up when you say you're going to show up, offer a reasonable price, and do your callbacks, if something goes wrong, there's a leak or anything like that, you take care of it, you'll be successful.
Right.
And anybody, on the Eastern Shore that's thinking about opening a gutter business, do it. There's so much work, and not enough guys that are dedicated to doing it. Because it's not a big ticket sale, so you're usually like, if a whole house gutter install is 4 hours, 5 hours, and we have stocked now. We stock all of our material, so we have a warehouse that's full of gutter material, and the trucks go there, they load up, and we buy the gutter metal on 350-pound rolls. They're called pup rolls, and it gets loaded onto a machine, and that all your parts and pieces go into a truck, and then they go out and install. I've got 2 crews that run it nonstop right now. They've been with me forever. A big shout out to one of the guys that just kind of leads the whole charge over there. His name's Dean Twilley. And I can tell you, I've got more letters covering up our Gutter Pro wall of how nice and how great of a job he did. And again, it's not me, it's the team behind me. I deal with a lot of the issues, the more complicated installs, half rounds, underground drains. We do a lot. So when the gutter, the downspout that comes down the side of the house, dumps water right at your foundation, that's a standard install. Well, we can offer to put that 15 feet away in an underground drain to a pop-up or a box. So you're hand digging. I mean, there's a lot of components. The Gutter Pros also does fascia metal and soffit work. This thing.
What about what are you looking for within the roof side? Because I know that you guys offer, just looking at, in some of the marketing that we're looking at, you do roof tune-ups. And what about the installation side?
So roof tune-up. So Vasco gets a lot of calls, leaks, and what we do is our crew that's there. When you think about it, gutters, you're on the edge of the roof, you're on the roof, and really. My gutter guys are roofers and gutter guys. It's kind of one and the same. They go together. So what we offer is a roof tune-up package. So we'll come out. You have a leak or you have some missing shingles or something like that, and then there's a set price. We just come out and knock it out. There's no bullshit. There's no marketing. We're not coming out there and going to say, "Oh, you need to do a whole new roof." I mean, I just was out on a job with our guys 2 weeks ago. And the roof was like 30-some years old, and we put, I think the lady paid us like $550. We replaced a bunch of shingles, and the roof really needed to be replaced, but she couldn't afford it. So we went out and stopped all the leaks and got it tuned up to where it was just going to stay weather tight and not be leaking into the house. So that side of the business with the Gutter Pros, we don't market it that much. Although it should be. I don't know why we don't, Joe. We need to jump on that one. But it's a service that a lot of customers, I mean, there's roofing companies, you call some roofing companies, and they're like $1,500 to show up and fix a small leak. I mean, a small leak repair done correctly by somebody experienced, it's a couple of hours and a couple $100, $200 in 2 bundles of shingles, and you can replace a valley or whatever it is. I mean, it depends on that specific job. But we have a roof tune-up package. So with the Gutter Pros, it's of course the gutter design and installation. It's going to be the leaf protection.
I wanted you to hit on the leaf protection because I know that there's a ton of different products on the market. And, as I started wrapping my head around helping you guys market the complete gutter systems and gutter protection systems, I really dove into, I want to know what these other brands offer. And I'm not even going to give them the shout out, but there's several other national brand names that are out there in leaf protection. And then I looked at what you have with the, the Gutter Glove family suite of products there. And, I want you to kind of, just share with the audience, individuals, some of this is going to be shared locally, and I'm going to have clips for people locally. I want them to at least understand, if you're considering a leaf protection system, let's say in a place like the Pines, where it's needed in pretty much every house.
I have the best product at the best price point on the market anywhere. You hit it. The Gutter Glove. It's called Leaf Blaster Pro. I mean, this will blow the socks off of anybody else's. I mean, we're not going to, like you said, we're not going to name all these other companies, but we have a microfiber mesh, stops roof grit. It stops the pine needles, which is the biggest thing in ocean pines. We have all those pine trees, 12,000 homes or something like that.
Yeah.
And every one of them has a pine tree next to it.
Every one of them has like 4 or 5 pine trees next to
Right,
them.
right.
Unless you're at the point or something like that, there's a couple communities in there. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
for the most part, every house, is getting, riddled with pine needles. So.
Right. So I do. I have the absolute best product, and it never rots, never rusts. Like 25-year warranty on the product, and we offer lifetime service. On once we install. So we look at it as leaf protection. Some companies are going to come out there and they're going to charge you $5,000 to put it on your house, right? It's we get into linear foot prices, $30 to $40 a linear foot for some of this stuff, man. And I'm able,
and that's just for the guard.
That's just the guard. That's not even including the gutter, man. Yeah. So the way that I set up both of my businesses,
and you set up a beautiful company where you're coming out there, and when you say a fair price, you're charging less than that for a complete gutter system. Like if they want the gutter and the guard,
brand new 6-inch gutter with guard is less than some of these guys just for their topper. And my product's even better than their product. I have ripped off and torn off and gone back to, I can't tell you, countless hundreds of houses and torn off old gutter systems, old leaf protection systems, and put our product on there because they failed. I mean, when you're spending money for something, you want it to last, right? I've set up, both of my companies, I have 0 commission-based salesmen, okay? So you're going to be dealing with an owner or a project manager or a high-end technician through the entire process. Even, from Vasco, I do all the designs in-house. I'm your designer. I do all the CAD work. That's what I do every single day. I'm sitting in front of a computer doing CAD work. I'm doing estimating. I'm doing design work, and that's what I do. And then my partner, Greg, who's this absolutely amazing craftsman and he gets shit done, right?
Yeah.
He's the guy that in the field.
Yeah, just coming in your office, I've seen the ticket load behind his desk.
For sure.
18, 19 projects going on. You guys complete annually, just the Vasco side, what?
500 to 600, and then even
500 to 600 projects.
Customers, and then underneath of those customers, we have a lineup. So we do work for project management companies that like Airbnb companies, and all these people go through a single project manager. Well, they hire us to come out and do all of their small projects. They got a leak, and they've got a customer put their arm through a wall. We patch the drywall and paint the wall. Straight rock and roll on a lot of these projects. So now bigger projects, we don't take on multiple big projects at the same time. Because like I said, man, we're a small family-owned company. There's companies out there that are huge, massive. I am where I am, and I love where I am. I don't want to grow any bigger. Yep. I just want to, where I'm at is perfect for me, for my family, for my business partner, Greg. We take on as much as we can handle with keeping an owner through the entire process. So as you move through this job, you're not dealing just with, tech or sub after sub after sub. You're dealing with, Greg and myself. So when you sign on to a project with Vasco, you're going to be dealing with me through the design, through drawing it out, getting you through the permitting, material ordering. I do Excel spreadsheets with and list out everything you need. It's kind of your project Bible, your homework. Yeah. I hand that over to you, and either you and your, whoever goes out and picks it out, or if you want to come into our showroom, we have kitchens, we have flooring, we have, a showroom of our own that we can offer. We're a master brand. We sell a lot of Aristocraft, Kemper, and Diamond cabinetry. But once you're through that sales process, and that's what I love to do. That's my thing, man. That's what gets me excited. Greg doesn't like doing that stuff. He doesn't like the paperwork.
He likes to make sure the project gets done.
He likes to be on site, making sure drywall's perfectly square, and that our guys. We have our own in-house employees, and we also lean on a team of subcontractors that work with us, that have been working with us for a long time. But Greg's the guy in the field, keeping the schedule rolling, making sure the materials are coming in on time, making sure that the customer is kept up to date with everything going on. And I mean, this guy just straight kills it. I mean, he's an amazing, and customers love him. But back to the gutter pros, we have zero commission-based salesmen, so we're able to offer these gutter guards at a lower rate. That's insane. Like some of these companies, their commissions just for the salesman to sell you this thing are 30-40% of the total cost. So if you're paying $2,000, $800 is going to the salesman. You're not, you know,
that higher per linear foot price is the commission.
right, man. Yeah, and that's where we're able to offer the product, you know, a better product. And seriously, I'll put my product, my leaf guard protection system and our gutters and our underground drain systems, our soffit systems. I'll put it up against anybody's on the market today. And, you know, if you want, you know, we even did this with one customer one time, is they got 3 estimates, and I put my gutter guard on the 4-foot section and the other guys put a couple pieces on, because it was a big job, man. We're talking, my cost on that job was like $7,000, and this is just the mansion, dude. And
that sounds like it.
He ended up going with us after having the product on there for a few months, you know, just a small section of it. And he hired me to do like a 15-foot run, and hired another guy to do a small run and let it run. And you know, we beat him out. So yeah,
very cool. Well, Adam, as we get to the end of the episode, I know there's 2 different companies that the listeners, you know, if they're on the Eastern Shore and they're looking to have a project completed, you know, whether it's a kitchen remodel, a bathroom remodel, if they're in a unique spot with a nice over top deck, I guess, you know, maybe they're looking for some top deck on down to exterior renovation, siding, roofing, so on and so forth. Where should they go to contact you for Vasco?
So www.vascoproservices.com and then thegutterpros.net.
Perfect.
So check us out. Give me a call. So you know, when you call that office line, you're talking with me or Greg. You know, give us a buzz and see what we can do to help you if it lines up, and you know, come out and get things set up.
Cool. Well, Adam, I appreciate you coming on, and you know, I think for, you know, people on the Eastern Shore, if they're looking for a contractor to help with, you know, any phase of construction, it seems like you guys are kind of the deal there. So again, I appreciate you coming on.
Sure, man.
You've been listening to the Lava Hut Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business in 2022? Then visit us at golavahot.com for a free marketing analysis.